Um, I don't know if I have that much to say. I don't know if I ever have that much to say, but sometimes it seems that I do. Um, and my cat is here, and my cat always has something to say. So I guess it's because when you go live, and if anyone joins, even if a person joins, it adds up to your view time. I think. I don't know. I have tuned in to a YouTuber, I think that's what they're called, who he talks of. It was actually brought to my attention by a friend, Destiny, and it's supposed to increase your subscribers. I don't know how it works. Um, he seems like a nice guy. He talks, answers your questions if you have one, makes conversation. Um, but I guess it does, as I guess it increases your YouTube subscribers. I don't know. I am on a quest to gain more subscribers um, for lots of reasons. One, because I do want to monetize my channel. Yes, I want to make some money doing what I like to do, putting my writing out there, talking about yoga, um, talking about fitness, talking about diet, mainly talking about the yogic lifestyle is what I consider um, that I do and what that entails. It's also what my writing is based on. I consider everything I write to be yogic based, even if it doesn't really seem to be based on yoga, but it is. Um, that true deep sense of yoga, that we're talking union of the manifest and unmanifest, union of the mundane and the divine. And when we see that, and you look around, then truly and quite literally, everything becomes yoga. Because it's better said, instead of joining, that we are rejoined. Because we're only separated from the actuality of life as an illusion. There's no separation. There's just the belief that I am set apart from life happening, that I am the one living my life instead of being immersed in life itself. And when you realize that, you've realized union, you've realized yoga. You're no longer practicing yoga, you are yoga, the joined. Um, so, with that said, it's also why right now I'm looking at my 200-hour yoga teaching certification, which I just finished up recently. However, um, although it was a great course steeped in the philosophy and psychology of yoga, it was still mainly asana based, postural yoga, which is a branch of yoga, but it is not the main yoga. I was just reading the other day how Patanjali, who's considered the father of modern yoga, um, his Yoga Sutras considered the holy text of yoga, of course, along with the Vedas and the Upanishads, um, the Bhagavad Gita. But it's the Yoga Sutras themselves that explain the 8 limbs of yoga, Ashtanga yoga. Not to be confused with Ashtanga yoga, which is the um, rather modern approach to the postural yoga. The Ashtanga itself, Ashtanga, um, is means 8, which is the 8 limbs of yoga. We've talked about quite a bit, so I won't actually reiterate it too much here. But Patanjali would not recognize yoga now. It is far removed from what he talked about, where it was the preparation for the final result of the meditative path samadhi. That was his um, interest. Everything else led to that, with the personal ethical restraints, the personal observances, and pranayama, and the path, the limbs leading up, branches leading up to samadhi through meditation being the most important, and the asanas being preparation to allow your body to be comfortable, steady, and still as you meditate. Healthy body is important for meditation. Um, it's important for the posture of meditation, keeping the back. You can do it in a straight back chair. You don't need to be in a full lotus position or a half lotus position, or even in a yogic sitting sitting position. You can be in a straight back chair, but it's good to have your back upright, supported, vertebrae stacked. Same with when we're practicing pranayama. But the emphasis, to the point now, when you think yoga and you think of the Lotus Sutra, you think of downward dog, you think of um, sun salutation, you think of the movement first, and then maybe a little bit of positive affirmation substituted as a form of meditation, or a guided meditation offered by your instructor. Maybe, if you're lucky, a little bit of breath work, but not the original intent of self-actualization, self-realization through yoga. I first started reading about yoga as a kid. I started practicing the physical postures as a kid, teaching myself. But it wasn't until the late 80s, reading Paramahansa Yogananda's autobiography of Yogi, that I gained a true sense of what yoga was about. And then I spent the rest of my life after reading that book diving into all aspects that I could of yoga. So through all this time, I still don't, even right now, looking at my 200-hour yoga teaching certification, even having 2 certifications to teach breathwork and pranayama, and even being a meditation teacher, I don't consider myself a yoga teacher. I consider myself a yogi, a perpetual student exploring, even better, someone who's exploring, um, and as I mentioned, everything being yoga. So I'm exploring life, and then my hope for my channel is to talk about it, to share, to not teach yoga or a yogic lifestyle, maybe give some hints, maybe give some tips, maybe give my own lessons, things that I've learned. But for the most part, I think teaching is beyond me, as again, I feel like a perpetual student in the game of life itself. Um, our friend Simone is here. Good evening, Eric. Hope all is well listening now. I appreciate you being here. Always nice when you get the opportunity to stop by. Um, so I imagine, good evening, it must be fairly late over there. I think there's a 5 or 6 hour difference, and it's almost 1:30 in the afternoon here. Um, I'm talking YouTube, I'm talking yoga, I'm talking art. Um, that I know many people who have made a successful income through their YouTube channel. And my main objective has been to write of meditation, to write of yoga, to write of nature, to write of science, whatever interests me, and to do it in my own lyrical prose style that is always evolving, always um, in the process. So Simon says, yes, 6 hours. So 19-30 hours here, which 7:30 or so. So not too late there. Although honestly, 7:30 in the evening for me is about what time I'm going to sleep, because I'm up at 3 o'clock. I've talked about how my day unfolds. Being up at 3, um, That is supposed to be the, I think, 1 hour and 45 minutes before sunrise to, so I'm actually a little earlier than that, to an hour and a half or so um, after the sun comes up is considered the hour of Rama, the auspicious hour. That is the time to meditate. That is the time, it's the breach between two worlds. It's the not fully night, not fully day. It is the merging of everything at once. Um, this is the holy hour when um, Rumi, I'm going to bring Rumi's poem here up. Don't go back to sleep. Jane Roberts, who was a psychic, a medium, a channeler back in the 70s, whether or not she said she um, did the channel writing for Seth, who was a non-physical entity. Whether you believe in that or not doesn't really matter. She was a good writer, and it was good information. And she talked about, well, Seth talked about, every one of us will have a wake-up call from God between 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock in the morning. Might have been between 3 and 4, 3 and 5. But the vast majority of us hit the snooze button and we say, well, God, it's kind of early. Let me get back to you. So we lose that contact. We lose those holy hours because we'd rather sleep. Understandable. We have stressful lives. We work hard. We need that sleep, but we're missing so much. Let's go to Rumi here. Let's see. Simone says 7:30. I mean, sorry. That's okay. It just took me a second to translate it. I'm used to, with Mocha being in the military, she very often does it in military hours. So it just took me a second to translate that. Simone says, interesting. I was about to ask, what is the main reason why you get up at that time? Don't know what the significance of it is. Again, it's the most auspicious time in the yogic tradition, which dates 5,000 plus years. Some say 10,000 plus years. Some say all the way to when time itself started. It is the time of creation itself. It's the hour of Brahma. It's when, in Celtic lore, there's places called thin places where the veil between realities is at its thinnest. And if you're fortunate at that time, you can step through. So the hours between 3 and 6, it's a thin time. It's when reality is porous. There was a famous British mystic, Thomas Troward, who said, if you were to ask for what you wished for at that hour between 3 and 6, if you were to wake up, put one foot on the floor and ask God for what you wish for, the universe has no choice but to respond to your request, to respond to your intent. Our friend, It Is What It Is, Lewis is here. Good morning, Eric, in chat. Hey, Lewis, you know Simone, right? Let me read. Simone, I'm almost positive that you're familiar with Rumi. This is one of his famous poems, Don't Go Back to Sleep. And he explains it perfectly and beautifully, as only Rumi can, as only someone in the mystical tradition of Islam, of the Sufis, can say it. The Sufis would spin themselves into that other sense of reality. So here's Rumi on why to wake up. The breeze at dawn has secrets to tell you. Don't go back to sleep. You must ask for what you really want. Don't go back to sleep. People are going back and forth across the doorsill, where the two worlds touch. The door is round and open. Don't go back to sleep. So, for me, I'm up and I take care of the immediate bathroom needs. And I'm in my very first meditation posture, which is the auspicious pose, the easy pose, um, which is a version. It's not the full lotus, it's not even the half lotus, but it is a cross-legged pose, um, very powerful, almost like a mudra, a full body mudra. It's actually very good for the back as well. Um, and that's my meditation posture. And I sit and I meditate at that hour for about 30 minutes. I do my breath work. I do breath of fire to start my day. Um, and it is the quietest time. Everything is still. I'm up before the birds. Um, the stillness, the inner stillness matches that inner stillness. Um, Incredible time. And then I do my first easy practice of yoga, usually based on the sun salutation. Although my back being sore, I've been doing some very gentle postures just to get my day started. I have my 1 cup of coffee as I write because it's a beautiful time to write. It's, it's still not even 4 o'clock yet. Um, and inspiration's present. You don't need to ask for inspiration at 4 o'clock in the morning. Inspiration is there. So all I have to do is receive. My inner quiet has matched the outer quiet of the world, and the words just come, and I write every day, and I have for 25 plus years. Um, Lewis says, no, but I will check him out. Oh, yeah, you definitely got to check out Simon. He's a beast, and he's a master programmer. Um, one of the top programmers out there, for sure. And Simon, I don't know if you're familiar with It Is What It Is, but he is Mr. Five Pump on the verge of the greatest comeback of 224. Heard it here first. I've been talking about it for a while now, that the comeback story of 2024 is going to be It Is What It Is. Simone says, when I did my 4x4 48 hours challenge, I needed to get up at 3:30 for my 4 a.m. run. Um, it is true that running at that time is special. I love running at that time. My favorite thing about 24-hour races, um, other people might go to sleep for a couple hours, but I would stay up and do the entire. Plus, I'm not as fast as the great guys, but I can keep going and going and going and going. So that was in my favor. No need to describe it. There's a special atmosphere, most definitely. Lewis says, now I really got to do it. I have no doubt at all, and I haven't had any doubt. Simone, Lewis is intense. His routines, it's straightforward, nothing fancy. It is put your head down and go with a killer soundtrack. Probably in the top 3 soundtracks out there for sure. Lewis says he used to get up at 4 a.m. and I loved it. You know what? My whole day, by 9 o'clock, I've done everything that I've wanted to in the course of the day. And the rest is just cake. But yeah, after I write, I get outside, and I've talked about this quite a bit. I get outside for a walk. Sometimes a walk, run, but this is a time of being in nature. It's exercise is secondary. What I want to do is get to those thin places, those places in between realities. I want to be there when the birds wake up. I want to hear the animals scurrying along the path that I can't quite see. I saw a beaver yesterday, return. We haven't had beavers in my neighborhood in 20 years, and we finally got one back. So it's also important for your health. It's part of your sleep hygiene. The earlier you get up, the easier it's going to be to get to sleep. But when you get outside and you walk, and I talk about this often. I know Lewis is probably tired of hearing me say this. When you get outside and you get that first sunlight to your eyes, your body starts to produce cortisol, norepinephrine, and adrenaline, which are the stress-related hormones. So some of us, we immediately think, well, why do I want that? Because that's how your body responds to the beginning of the day. You want those hormones so we can chase down the mastodons and we can fight the saber-toothed tigers, but we want them in the perfect amount. We don't want them too much. We don't want them too low. We want that perfect amount so that we can navigate through our day. And at the same time, when the body naturally produces those hormones, through the course of the day, they start to die off. And in the raw material they leave behind, your body manufactures serotonin and melatonin, which are the sleep hormones that help us get to sleep. So even if you don't get up to meditate or to write or to do yoga, or you even don't want to take a walk, get outside for 10 minutes just to get that light on the eyes as early as possible. Your life will change. It's a powerful habit, health-wise. But if you walk, especially if you walk in a fasted state, and if you nasal breathe while you're walking, you turn it into a meditation, you're communing with nature. If you're fortunate to live in an area with trees, lots of trees, you're gaining the fractals, you're gaining the energy from the fractals. And our mind responds to fractals in a deep and profound way that science is just now starting to realize. And that's because our body itself, our brain, is a fractal energy. So it is relating, not just relating, it's interrelating with the fractals of nature. We are literally becoming in tune with the cosmos. I've never tried the 4x4 48-hour race. I thought about it at one time, and then, I'm semi-retired from ultra running. I'm not completely retired. I'm sure I'm going to race again. I don't know when. I'm sort of waiting for that inspiration to tug me in that direction. I'm just going back and looking at the comment. I'm glad to see, Simone, that you're a Rumi fan. Probably, I think, some of the most beautiful words. And it translates so well. Not every poet translates to another language, but Rumi can be translated in every language, and the point is still beautiful. Absolutely amazing. So that's the importance of, for me, of getting up. And then, of course, I do my workout and have some breakfast. I got another round afternoon yoga, my big yoga. And then I close the day with my last meditation for the day. And as I mentioned before, I practice mantra meditation, primordial sound meditation, which is an ancient yogic practice, Vedic practice of a mantra that is based on one of the 8 primordial sounds of the universe that came with the creation of the universe. When everything came into existence, it came into existence upon a vibration, and the vibration was Om. So the primordial sound meditation is based on Om, and then you have a bija, a seed mantra, which is the personal vibration that existed the moment you were born, the moment you came from the unmanifest to the manifest. So you're meditating upon that sound, and very easy and gentle. It's not forced, there's no concentration. There is simply the thought of the mantra, and then you let the mantra go. Jordan, is that how you pronounce your first name? Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. So, having said all that, very long-winded explanation, that is my goal of why I'm doing my best to monetize my channel. so that I continue talking about the stuff I enjoy talking about. Um, it's important to me, again, to share. I don't think of myself as a teacher. Although, again, I'm certified to teach, there's too much stuff out there to learn um, before I think I could ever consider myself a teacher. When I think of my own teachers and the profound depth of what they've offered me, I can't even begin to fathom being able to offer something like that in return. The best I can hope to do is maybe light a spark, maybe inspire someone just a little bit, what they might say, and to help people, to be of service. That's the highest calling that I can imagine, to be of service. And I hope that I can use my channel in such a way that I'm of service, that somebody might hear something that I say and say, you know what, I wonder if that's true. What would happen if I got up every morning at 4 and meditated and got out and walked in nature? How would my life change? Would it change? Maybe this guy's full of shit. And I can assure you that I am full of shit. But I live, I live my life in the manner that I talk of. I live my life in hopes, in an attempt to be of service. I live my life on the whim of inspiration, meaning I'm always on that cusp. I'm always listening to what inspiration whispers to me on how my life should proceed. For a long time, it's whispered yoga. Learn yoga, share yoga, talk meditation, talk writing. Why do I write every day? Why don't I just write every other day? Why don't I write once a week? Why don't I take a day off? And I've laid out, I don't even like calling them reasons. I've laid out why that I don't. Not a reason, but because every morning, spontaneously, I'm called to do the things that I do. And we all are. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes we don't listen to that quiet voice of inspiration. We shove it aside, sometimes for good reason, because we got a cranky baby to take care of, because we have a job that we got to rush off to, we have a dog we got to walk, and it's pouring down rain, whatever. Those are all good reasons, but at the same time, you got to feed your soul. Got to find a way to feed your soul something. So maybe if you even took 5 minutes reflection, I'm going to take 5 minutes in a room by myself and write or draw or paint, write a haiku, do origami. When you are creating something, you are attuned with the universe. You're listening to that whisper of inspiration. Let's go to one more quote. I just read Rumi. I'm going to read Pascal. This might be familiar to most of us. Blaise Pascal, the philosopher. All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. Let's read that one more time. All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. So what would happen if you decided to put that to the test? If that's all of the problems, all of our problems stem from that, that also means to do so ceases, at least for us, the root cause of all of our problems. As we are humanity itself, as is the micro, so goes the macro. One of us is a reflection of the whole. Indra's net of eternity. One gem reflecting the entire universe. That's who we are. So, with that said, if we can sit in a room alone we have stemmed all of humanity's problems. All we can do is try. See what happens. For me, this goes back to Maharishi Mahesh's, the founder of Transcendental. Boy, I'm having a hard time today. Meditation, and what is referred to as the Maharishi effect, where the Maharishi believed if a slim portion of a population meditated, the entire population would benefit from that small group. So that not everyone even needs to meditate. But I think he said like 10%. 10% of a given population. Might have been even less. Might have been 1%. 1% of a population meditated. 100% of that population would benefit. And this has been scientifically studied. It's sort of entrainment, which is a phrase in physics of two particles that are in line, that are entangled with each other. And when we meditate, we are causing that vibrational frequency that causes other people to become entangled within the peacefulness that we exist, which is why Patanjali, the yogic seer Patanjali, wrote in his Yoga Sutras that when we are steeped in the practice of ahimsa, which is peacefulness itself, no harm can befall not just us, but those within our circle. Now, I think ancient yogic seers maybe talked with a little more passion than actual fact, maybe. But who's to say? To be of service means that you practice it and you hope for the best. What are the other options? Clearly, what we're doing now as a society isn't working for everyone. Look at the discord, look at the crime, look at the warfare, look at the poverty, the class differences. So anything's worth a try. Anything that can prove to be helpful is worth a try. So that's been the basis of my life for 20 plus years. Longer, but the last 20 years is when I committed myself to live a life of an artist. To write. Everything I've done, all the jobs that I've had, have been to support me to write about the stuff that I love to write about, which is the same stuff that I'm talking about here. So my YouTube channel is an extension of my blog. It is what it is. Says you're doing great, Eric. Thanks. I appreciate that. It's an extension of my blog. So what I'm hoping is just put it out there to gain enough subscribers that I pay the minimal bills that I have, and to continue living the life that I love to live. And although my life is laid out in a very specific fashion, it seems, there's that dichotomy of spontaneity and discipline, that fine line, threading the needle between the two. For me, even though some might look at it and say, boy, that's pretty regimented, up at 3, meditating, yoga, writing, walking, working out, meditating again. From my perspective, it all seems very spontaneous. Everything just arising. And I look at it and I think, man, I want to do that. I can't wait to hit that burpee mat. I can't wait to do pull-ups. I can't wait to sit and meditate. I can't wait and do yoga. I have words bursting forth from me when I sit down to write. And if I don't, I look at that empty screen on my computer and I think, wow, in that emptiness is infinite possibilities of what can be written. And all I have to do is sit here and wait, sip my coffee, and those words are going to come to me. And I'm going to write something that's never been written before. Maybe no one will like it. I don't care. No one's ever written this before. No one has ever arranged these words specifically in this way, the way that I'm going to do any moment. Absolutely amazing. Now, I've had people look at my writing and say, well, that's no good. That doesn't make sense. Um, or whatever. Or want to argue with me or want to debate. I have no need or wish or desire to debate whatsoever. I have no desire to convince anyone else that my writing is good, my writing is bad, my writing simply don't care. I don't do it for anyone else but for me. And what I hope is because of the fact that I'm doing it just for me, it's going to have that effect on other people. They're going to sense that energy, that it is a work of passion, a work of love, a work of commitment, a work of spontaneity. The universe saying, this is what to write. If it's not written in a way that pleases anyone, it is not the universe's fault. Maybe I mistranslated, maybe I misheard, maybe I was in a hurry. But generally, I'm quite pleased with my writing. And I've been sharing it in the shorts. Some getting better responses than others. It's not about the response. It's about sharing. When you write something, when you create a piece of art, my recommendation is sharing. Because that's the logical outcome of creation, sharing it. Don't share it for the sake of praise. Don't share it for the sake of getting anything out of it. Share it because that's the way it's supposed to go. You've created something, now put it out in the world. It came from the unmanifest. It came from the universe. It came from the lips of God. It came from nature itself. So now your job is to be part of that process of continuation. Continue it from the unmanifest to the manifest. See where it goes. Absolutely amazes me to be part of that process. I am never not inspired just by the act of living. And again, my whole goal with this YouTube channel is to talk about that. Talk about all the stuff that I love. Not to convince you to do the stuff that I love, but maybe to help inspire you to do the stuff that you love, whatever that is. And it could be anything. And if you love it, it's worthy. It's worth it. Simply because you love it. So that seems like a good note to end our conversation on. Appreciate my friend Lewis being here. We are just over a day from the big comeback. I appreciate my friend Simone being here, all the way you're in Germany, I believe. And Jay Jordan, I appreciate you stopping by as well. So, gonna say goodbye. I appreciate everyone, my friends, my new friends, stopping by and chatting, lending your energy to the conversation. That's what makes it all worthwhile. It's why I really love going live. So, Lewis, take care. I'm on the lookout. You know what? Comeback begins with one burpee or one push-up or one squat, whatever it is in your comfort zone right now. So don't feel the need to stress your body any further than it's been stressed this past month or so after your accident. If you're still in the healing process, keep healing. Even if it's one pump, one push up, one squat. The start is the start. It doesn't matter where that start is. Um, yes, the start is the start. The second day might be one burpee, one push up, two squats. Who knows? See how it goes. I'm looking forward to seeing your approach, and I know it's going to be smart. Um, I'm also looking forward to the soundtrack. So, all right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.